Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, September 13th, 2018. I'm Keith Tebow. On tonight's program, we preview new seasonal employment opportunities coming up in the Fall River area. We have an update on the work being done by the city's opioid task force, and we bring you to the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Patriots Playground in the city's south end. But first, let's check in with the news headlines of the week. We bring in the digital city editor at the Herald News, Will Richmond. Will, welcome.
Thanks, Keith. Good to see you again.
Yeah, fortunately, we don't have to deal with some of the weather that they're dealing with down in the Carolinas, although we did have a wet week. So those of you who may have relatives out there, hopefully you're thinking of them as they're preparing for what looks like to be a very dangerous hurricane this week. But back to Fall River. First story I want to touch upon this week, Will, is actually an incident that happened, I believe, late last week with a member of the Fall River Police Department who was actually had some carbon monoxide exposure due to the air in his SUV that is supplied by the police department. What do we know about this? And I know there's some update today in terms of Ford Motor Company weighing in.
Yeah, it seems that there's been a reoccurring problem, not just here in Fall River, but in police departments around the country, in which the Ford Explorer and Police Inceptor models have issues with carbon monoxide exposure with those that are inside the vehicles. As you mentioned, today we had an update with comment from the Ford Motor Company, in which they say this is an issue related to third-party work that gets done after the vehicles are delivered to police departments, but that they are working with police departments to remedy the situation and try to make it so that this doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, it seems that we know of at least one Fall River police officer that was hospitalized due to carbon monoxide exposure. The department is looking into the problem further, including launching an investigation through which is essentially their internal affairs department. To see how much of a problem this is. And we also know that at least one employee has been put on administrative leave while this investigation takes place.
Now, Will, do we know how many of these Ford Explorer SUVs that the city department does have, and whether they're going to be taken off the road at all while this is still being investigated?
At this point, we're not sure. We don't know the full number of them or which ones have maybe been sort of had this problem maybe in the past and have been fixed, or whether or not testing was done well or not. The city is not saying much about the details as to why or who the person that was put on administrative leave because of this situation is, what their duties were. So there's a lot that we're still trying to kind of uncover as to how long the city has known about this problem, what's been done, and what will be done in the future.
Very bizarre type story, and fortunately the police officer that was that needed to be treated for the carbon monoxide exposure, I believe, appears to be fine. But again, a bizarre incident here in Fall River, and apparently, again, according to Ford, that this may have been an incident in other of its Ford Explorer SUVs that were delivered to police departments. And a lot of times, police departments will modify the vehicle to add, computerized equipment and the like. And according to the Ford statement, it had to do with, and I'm quoting here from the statement that was in the Herald News that you received, Will, that related to unsealed holes from the installation of police equipment by third parties. That could be a city department, could be another installer of some sort. But again, very, very bizarre incident by that what's happened at the Fall River Police Department. I guess the fire department has some of these same vehicles as well, and they haven't had any issues. Is that correct?
That's right. The fire chief, John Lynch, did confirm with us that they have not experienced the same issues. Certainly, it's possible you're looking at different modifications, like you mentioned, between the police department and the fire department. That, whereas the police department's modifications may tap into those areas where the carbon monoxide is coming from, that may not be the case with any modifications, if any, are being made by the fire department.
All right. Next up, the Fall River Redevelopment Authority and its screening committee is again continuing to look at applications for what will be its first executive director that will be handling development activity, economic development activity within the city of Fall River after the reorganization of that process in city government after the Fall River Office of Economic Development was removed from Government Center last year, and now Mayor Jazier Correa is looking for the Redevelopment Authority to pick up those tasks. And it looks like that there were 6 applicants for the position as the director, and it looks like that 5 of them may be moving on. I know we don't have any details in terms of who these applicants are, but as with anything, I'm sure they must have some good candidates that they're looking at.
Yeah, certainly you'd have to think if there were 6 applicants and they selected 5, they feel comfortable that 5 of them have at least the base qualifications they were looking for. The chairwoman, Kara O'Connell, had said to us that, certainly the 5 look good on paper, but that's part of the reason why they want to bring them in for the sort of preliminary interviews in person, and to determine out of those 5, they're expecting to name 2 finalists that would then move on to a much more public portion of the interview process.
All right. Again, I may have asked you this before. Timeline in terms of when the Redevelopment Authority would like to put someone in place?
They don't seem to have a timeline, at least
Okay.
that they've said, that we've published. At this point, they've got to schedule the 5 interviews, and then on top of that, schedule the 2 with the finalists as well. So I would have to think that we're looking at least, I don't know, 2 to 4 weeks at this point.
All right. And finally, I know we've talked about this when we talk about what's coming up at the paper each week, but I know the Herald News has been running a series of asking readers to submit questions about what they're wondering about, and you've had a couple of those, and I know there's something online to have people vote for what would be the next wonder that would be examined. So fill us in on what some people have been asking about.
Yeah, certainly, and it comes as no surprise, but a lot of our readers have questions about the history of the area. There's a lot of people that remember or think they remember various aspects of Fall River past, whether a park existed in a certain location, things that, in many cases, they're things that once existed and no longer do, and people are kind of wondering if we have photos in our archives of them. They wonder, what sort of happened to those, to those buildings, to those landmarks. So certainly we've had a lot of readers interested in the history of the Fall River area. As well, we've recently received a number of transportation-related questions. So, we put those questions out there up on our website now. Get that, or go right to the direct website at heraldnews.com/fall-river-wonders and vote on which question you think we should answer. One has to do with bus routes to Horseneck Beach, another about the tunnel under Government Center, and a third question related to traffic on Ellsbury Street, which, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with, having to traverse that stretch along with the students and staff at Durfee and Bishop Connolly every morning and afternoon. Right. So that voting is up now and will remain in place until next Wednesday.
All right, sounds good. What else is coming up at the paper?
Well, this weekend we're taking a look at the regional transit system here in Fall River, more familiarly known as CERTA. The state has been looking to cut funding for regional transit authorities, saying that it's not worth the investment because of lagging ridership numbers. Here in the Fall River area, they're saying that's not the case, and they're trying to fight to keep funding available to keep the buses running and hopefully even increase services. So we take a look at that little sort of battle going on between the local and state levels.
All right, well, sounds good. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
All right, have a good weekend, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media news right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the MassHire Fall River Career Center. Billing representative. New England Gas Company, located at 36 Fifth Street, is looking for a full-time billing representative to perform a variety of tasks such as issuing invoices, handling payments, and updating financial records for the gas company. Job number 11003921. IT support technician. Amazon, located at 1180 Innovation Way, seeks a full-time IT support technician. to provide line support service, ensuring all IT equipment and infrastructure is running smoothly at the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Job number 10999754. Nursing assistant. Steward St. Anne's Hospital, located at 795 Middle Street, is in need of a part-time nursing assistant to provide basic care to patients and assist them in daily activities they might have trouble with on their own. Job number 10999422. Walgreens, located at 369 Plymouth Avenue, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Cashier clerk. Job number 10998831. Shift supervisor. Job number 10998826. Bristol Community College, located at 777 Ellsbury Street, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Women's track head coach. Job number 10991150. Maintainer. Job number 10990832. For more information on these or other positions, visit MassHire JobQuest at jobquest.detma.org or call the MassHire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. It's the time of year when Greater Fall River retailers are beginning to look to hire employees for the upcoming holiday season. Here's more.
The job market in September is good in the sense that we're coming into the retail season right now. As you know, this is a very, very high opportunity for people to find additional employment opportunities. Every single employer is looking to hire. The general economy, not just in the state, of course, but also here is turned well. So opportunities abound, and it's certainly a good place to come in and connect with every one of those opportunities. We will be having another job fair very shortly, sometime in October. That's being planned. As a matter of fact, we have a meeting today, and that'll be coming out sometime in the early part to middle of October.
Since the City of Fall River established an opioid task force a year and a half ago with offices at Government Center, over 1,000 clients have been afforded substance abuse treatment options. Here's Task Force Clerk Nicole Fontaine with more.
So basically, it is a collaboration between every organization and individual in the city who cares to help people suffering with substance use disorder. And under that umbrella is called Project Reconnect, where we go into the homes after an overdose occurs and offer the family and their loved ones and the addict help. Any kind of treatment. We can bring them to detox on the spot if they want MAT, counseling, family support groups, anything that they want, we try to support. And the most important thing is that we follow up with them. It's not just a one-time visit. I know personally how it is to go through addiction, and I know that the beginning of getting clean is only the first step. It's a lifelong process, so we try to follow up as much as they're willing to participate.
Having had experience with addiction yourself, how did you get help and how did you stay clean for 5 years?
So I had to go to treatment 16 times, and I overdosed 3 or 4 times. Finally, I was in a major head-on collision, and I broke every bone in my body. I was in a wheelchair, hospitalized for months, 6 surgeries in 7 days, and I'd love to tell you that, hey, that was finally my bottom, but it wasn't. They prescribed me more fentanyl, more Oxycontin. I was homeless in a wheelchair for months after being released from the hospital, still doing heroin. And finally, I got arrested for the last time, and in that cell, I just dropped to my knees, and I knew, like, I couldn't take anymore. So I reached out for help. I went back to STAR again for the 16th time, and this time I did it the right way. I went to the step down. I went to further treatment. I continued treatment for almost 2 years, and I still am an active member in Narcotics Anonymous. So they have recovery coaches now too, which is an amazing program. Stuff like that you need someone. The biggest thing I could tell someone is you can't do this alone. You have to have someone helping you that's either been there before or understands the disease.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony to the grand opening of a Patriots-themed playground at Maplewood Park in the city's South End took place this week. Fall River Mayor Jazio Correa gave the opening address to a lively audience of Laterno school students.
This is a really exciting day. I'm so proud, of course, to be the mayor today and every day, but especially on days like this where we cut the ribbon on a wonderful gift from the Patriots Foundation. This gift was made possible, of course, by the Patriots Foundation and numerous volunteers, construction companies, workers, Diamond High School, just a bunch of people that came together to make this possible. And they're all listed right here, our sponsors on this list. So please give a round of applause for all our sponsors that helped us make this possible.
Thank you. We're all so excited. I'm so happy to see the kids from, what is it, just the 5th grade at Laterno? Fourth grade. And fifth. Okay, so we're so happy because the other folks we want to see play on this equipment. You know, for so long in the South End over here, this park, when it's not being played by the Little League on the other end, there was very little activity here. But recently, thanks to this administration, we have new tennis courts, and now this great, thanks to the Kraft family and the foundation, this great playground that so many people, and I've already seen them playing on it, so I know they're going to utilize it. But we want all of you here from Laterno to come up here and visit and to play on this playground, because that's what it's all about.
We know that we have a bunch of dedicated fans in the area. We're really excited to do this project, and we could not have picked a better place to kick this off, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We are overexcited about having it down here, and we look toward the future for you guys to enjoy it, right? All right. Thank you. You know, they talk about football and how football is played 60 minutes. You got to play 60 minutes of football in order to win, like we did on Sunday. Yeah. There you go. Wasn't too long ago. We also like to encourage 60 minutes of activity for you guys. Make sure that you all are getting your 60 minutes a day of some type of activity to keep your bodies nice and healthy, all right? So this is another reason why we helped put this park down here, that you guys could take that time to do that and keep your body nice and healthy.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we've got Mr. Boomer here. He's a little pitty. He's 3 years old, and he is a tremendous load of fun. Not only is he just in general really a friendly dog, he loves his toys. He originally came to us as a stray. He came to us with, actually it was a broken leg he came to us with, which we've since fixed. He's all good now. And as you can tell, he's a very friendly guy. He's very tolerant too with his broken leg. Good with handling. Should be good with younger kids possibly. Definitely good with other animals. He's just a big friendly guy. So if you'd like to come and meet Boomer here, we're located at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Hi, today in Hot Dogs and Cool Cats we have Mr. Fluffy Pants. He's a 2-year-old male. He does get along with cats for the most part. He just likes to do his own thing when it comes to other cats. He's a pretty independent cat. He doesn't mind being pet. So come down and meet Mr. Fluffy Pants at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
The boardwalk at Fall River Heritage State Park has been dedicated to former state representative Robert Correa, who also served as mayor for 2 years starting in 2008. The state delegation gathered to honor Correa, whose work on Beacon Hill made the boardwalk on the waterfront possible.
Were it not for your tutelage, for your pushing, and for your convincing that it wasn't good enough to say, I'll do anything. That what you always have to be for your district is proactive and saying, I need, I want, and I really need to have. And you've done that for Fall River for so many years. So I thank you personally. I thank you for the people of Fall River, and I thank you for everyone in the delegation, because your legacy has helped us to all take leadership positions. And I think that that is one of the most important things that we will know you for.
Bob has influenced me in my career in public service more than any other individual. It was Bob Correa who made the very first phone call to me when I was first elected back in 1996 as a state representative. And he invited me to his office in Fall River in the basement of his home. And we sat there, and as Representative Haddad says, he loves to make connections. And he got on the phone, the new, brand new Speaker of the House, Tommy Finneran. And remember, this was in April of '96. For those of you that remember those days, it was literally a week after a very contentious speaker fight in the House. And here I was in the office of the Majority Whip speaking to the Speaker of the House. And from that moment forward, Bob constantly took me under his wing, offered advice, direct advice, and I learned so much from him.
I'm delighted to be here with all of you because I was a beneficiary of Bob and his astuteness and his ability to get things done. For 13 years as mayor, I can't count the number of times that I accessed Bob's influence and power to address the city's interests.
I didn't get here by myself. I didn't accomplish any of this by myself. Every success that I have had is because of other people. Colleagues like Joe Menard, colleagues like Tom Norton, who's not here today, colleagues like Ravi Raposa, who again, God bless his soul. So I have to thank all of them, because whatever successes I have, I share with them. They help them come true. They help me succeed. And I'm forever eternally grateful for their support and their friendship over time.
Meanwhile, speaking of Heritage State Park, here are some activities coming up at the park through the month of September.
We've got all these interesting pieces of leather, remnants and we're making interesting things from these. We're doing leather weaving and crafts and stuff like that. If you get real adventurous, you can make one of these for Christmas, okay? Or you can just make a mystery knot bracelet. We know how to. Actually, we didn't know how to do these. Okay, we didn't know how to do these, so we looked to the local experts. There were some teenage girls walking through, and I said, one of them looked at me and said, "Do you need help with that?" And within 30 seconds, she had the thing woven. It took me 2 weeks to study it on YouTube. I couldn't do it. 30 seconds, she knew how to do it. So why don't you come down here and show us how to do stuff, because we don't have a clue. Okay, but we've got all kinds of leather crafts. You can play. If you know how to make something out of this, come show us. Okay, and you can leave with a magic bracelet. You can with the thing, all kinds of stuff, because we're celebrating manufacturing in Fall River.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m., but get more on our website, frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.